You have time for movies?
Yes, it's a sacrifice though. But I don't want to put myself out from my regular life. The television show has really been demanding. I think I got away with it the first year because that was the first season, and I shot that before the season began.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would really stretch myself out too thin. I don't want to do that because I think that's a form of greed to me. You can't do everything. If I dedicate myself to one thing, I need to focus on that. If I dedicate myself to something else, I need to focus on that. To try to do all these and do the road and do stand-up and do the television show and then try to deal with my marriage and my home, something's going to give.
I was going to say that. Something's going to give.
Something's going to give. I don't want to do that.
And what's the most precious to you beyond family?
My comedy.
Comedy. Not the sitcom, not the stand-up, just comedy.
My comedy.
Being able to create truth.
Right. And joy.
And enjoy.
Yep.
And entertain.
Yes, sir.
New York Daily News said Bernie Mac comes closest to the dangerous wit of comedians like Pryor and Eddie Murphy. His takes on troubled family life have a vicious bluntness that make you gasp. Pretty true, you think?
Charlie, you know, I do what I do and I let the ball bounce where it may.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about that as I do awards. I think they're great.
Yeah.
But if I don't hear the voices, I think once I start hearing the voice, I have a problem. I just want to have fun.
You have a problem if you began to hear the praise.
Yeah.
And people saying, Bernie, you're great.
You know, I've seen that in the past. I've seen too many individuals greater than I, get caught up into that. I don't want to do this on the strength of notoriety or things like that. I'm a clown. I've been called a clown all my life.
And you're happy with that?
I'm happy with it.
A clown?
I love it. But I'm secure with the fact that when I get through and I bring joy to people and I make people laugh at something, Charlie, that comes from me and comes from my mindset or something that I want to put into perspective or sit there and say something that everybody afraid to say, but bring humor from it also. It's such a joy for me. I don't want to get caught up into all that other superficial stuff. The book and everything, when I did the book. I was going to mention the book next. When I did the book, I was sitting up there talking, and the guy said, man, we just sitting up here, we was just talking, in the basement, and we was having a good time. And he said, bro, you ought to do a book. Yeah. I said, fine. I said, but I don't know what type of book I want to do. But if I do a book, I don't want to take myself away from myself. And what I mean by that, Charlie, I didn't want to just do any some cookbook or become a preacher and try to throw down the rules and regulation in people's lives and hearts. I wanted to still be myself. When people read the book, they hear me. They say, I sound like him.
Bernie Mac, How Life Is, I Ain't Scared of You is the title. You choose the title?
Yeah.
So when you dream about this wonderful life, difficult, inspiring, growing, where does it go? Where do you want it to go? If you are a clown, if comedy is what you are about most of all,
I think I would like it to go to a place that is very well needed. I think I would love for my comedy to go and touch places that people, when they tap in their life, they can say to themselves, "Wow, yeah, I feel that. I understand that. That's something I've been thinking about." And that's how my comedy began. When I used to listen to certain great comics and listen to their LPs and in the basement, and I used to go steal my mother party albums and stuff, and I used to listen, I used to just listen. I used to play it over again, and I used to say, what made him different from that comedian? What made that comedian different from that comedian? And it was the strength, the inner strength, the style, the confidence that they had, not being afraid to fail. And if I can transcend that to a lot of people. Whatever dream, it might not be comedy. It might be in the workplace. To give them that drive, that's when I Ain't Scared of You came from. You know, you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to fail. And we all need something from somebody, and it comes from in the most inopportune time, Charlie. And it did for me. When I heard Richard Pryor, when I heard Bill Cosby for the first time, it really motivated me to become a comedian. When I saw my mother sitting in the chair crying, and I came in and I asked my mother why was she crying. And she said, nothing, son. And I wiped her face off, and I began to cry. And Ed Sullivan introduced Bill Cosby. And Bill Cosby came out and he did a routine about snakes in the bathroom. And my mother began, Charlie, to laugh and cry at the same time. But then I started laughing, you know. And I saw the joy on my mother's face. And when Bill Cosby got through, I said, Mom, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a comedian. I'm going to make people laugh so you ain't never got to cry again. He tapped in on me. If my comedy can go other places like that and tap in other people's lives, I'm doing my job.
You're doing it. Bernie Mac on How Life Is. I Ain't Scared of You. Bernie Mac on Fox Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Next season the show moves to 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. You're up against me next year.
Charlie, I told him not to do that, Charlie. I don't want you to lose your job.
I wish they'd listen to him. You're terrific. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Pleasure to have you here.
No, thank you, Charlie.
Bernie Mac. We'll be right back. Stay with us.